Hi, I'm Millie and we're back with another episode of Meals from a Musical. Today we're making a recipe from this lovely book, Roald Dahl's Revolting Recipes. Although it's not going to be revolting, it's going to be really nice because I'm making the cake that Bruce Bogtrotter eats from Matilda. I've also come dressed as the cake. First things first. Preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Alexa, what's 350 degrees Fahrenheit in Celsius?
350 degrees Fahrenheit is about 176.7 degrees Celsius.
Okay, so we're going to round that up to 180 degrees. Lovely. My next step is to line the cake pan with wax paper and bust the bottom and size the paper. Now, I'm kind of doing this a little bit differently because this recipe actually only calls for one big sponge and then just cover it in icing. But that's not really how it looks in the film. So we're going to make it a little bit harder and make 2 sponges. So I've actually doubled the ingredients. So obviously chocolate, flour, not much flour though, butter, egg yolks and egg whites. And you also need sugar. And then for the icing, you just need more chocolate and double cream. The next step is to melt the chocolate in a pyrex bowl set in a saucepan of simmering water or in a microwave on low heat. And then I've just got to mix in the butter and stir until it's all melted. Step 4. Transfer to a large bowl and add the sugar, flour and lightly beaten egg yolks. So got my sugar, add the sugar. Probably should just put this up somewhere so I can actually just read it. Add the flour and add the lightly beaten egg yolk. So these are my egg whites and now I just need to whisk the egg whites until stiff. Then gently fold half of the whites into the mixture, blend it and then put the other half in. Sounds easy, probably won't be. It's doing something. I will say that it makes it sound a lot easier than it actually is because unless I'm doing it really wrong, I don't think it should look like this. So we're just going to go with it because it's taking an awfully long time. I just need to pour half of this in here for now. And then start this mixing. That looks like a cake. Oh yeah. So now we just put in the rest. I think that looks like a cake. So now my cake has finished. This is what my cake looks like. I think it looks right, so I'm just going to pour it into the tins. I think these look right. I don't really know what it's meant to look like, but it looks like just quite a runny cake mixture, which if they're really like soft moist cakes, I'm thinking that should be a good thing. But I guess we'll find out. Time to put them in the oven for 35 minutes. So my 35-minute timer has just gone off, so we're going to see how the cakes look. Hopefully they're okay. I need some oven gloves. Well, they've definitely risen. It's very interesting. It says to put a toothpick in and see if they're cooked. So, I mean, it looks pretty good. Just going to leave them to cool for a bit and then make the icing. So these have been cooling now for about half an hour, so I think I'm just going to take them out the tin. They have sunk a bit, but I'm not too concerned. I also don't know how to go about this. Shall I just flip it? Is there anything happening? Maybe I should get a knife. Right, I've got this butter knife. Hoping. Yay! Success! Still kind of warm, but hopefully it will start to cool down a bit more whilst I make the icing. So to make the icing, we just need 400 millilitres of double cream, which I'm going to pour into this jug, and then we need, I think, like 450 grams of this chocolate, and then we're just going to pop them in the pot, melt them together, let it cool, and then pour it over the cake and see what happens. So now I've measured this out. I'm just going to pour this in. Just going to add all that chocolate and then just pop it on. So now I think I'm happy with my icing, so I'm just going to let that cool slightly. And whilst I do that, I'm just going to put some of this chocolate frosting in the middle of this cake. I think I probably should turn them back so the top is at the top, but I feel like this will be a lot smoother to pour the kind of icing over the top. So we're just going to leave it like this. Just going to hope for the best with this frosting, really. And yes, I do know I've cheated a little bit by getting store-bought frosting, but I just thought it might be too much on my plate if I wanted to actually make the cake successfully. Cool. Happy with that. Now I think I'm just going to put this... Well, it did break, but I think I can salvage it. So moving on to icing the cake, so I'm going to put a baking tray under here to catch all the icing. Under there. So now I'm just going to pour my icing into the jug to make it easier to pour. Well, the camera just stopped recording, but I did pour this over and it did go, well, I think semi-successfully. It looks like a cake. So I don't think that went terribly. I wouldn't say it was great, but you know, got to work with it. So I think I'm just going to leave it to set for a bit, put it on a plate. Jobs are good, and I thought I'd got away with it, but you can see where the cake cracked. So I think it's go time. I think I'm going to somehow try and get this cake onto this plate. I don't know how. I've got this thinking it might help. Ta-da! Right, it's time to cut it, try it, hope for the best. Whoa. Ta-da! Now is the time to taste it. It is leaning a little bit, but that is an extremely chocolatey chocolate cake. So I feel like it's one Bruce Bogtrotter would eat. So I'm alright with that, you know? It is what it is, we've got a crack in it. The icing's a bit oily, didn't go down the sides. The cake's falling a little bit. But overall, 10 out of 10 on taste, and that's what matters. Thanks for watching my Meals from a Musical. If you've got any other suggestions of food that we can make, leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and we'll see you next time. Today we're making this. A book, a recipe from this book.